Everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Niamh. I'm the librarian in Kerry Library. The purpose of tonight's session really is just to give us a chance to make sure that teachers are aware of all the resources we have available to you that you can use from the library. Oftentimes when I'm talking to teachers, I find that they'll know about some of the resources we have, but not all of them or how to access them. Obviously, over the last few months, 18 months, we've had a restricted service, but thankfully now we are slowly going back to normal. And over the next few months, we'll resume some of the services we haven't been able to provide while we were in lockdown. Thank you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through the resources we have, and then Deirdre Johnson from Kerry ETB is going to join us, and she's going to give a small presentation on the Music Generation programme, which is a brilliant programme available in Kerry. Now, so as you know, we have 9 libraries in Kerry and 2 mobile libraries. As I said, our services have been restricted over the past 18 months, but they are lifting now and our services are slowly coming back. From next week, we will be open for studying at a socially distanced level, and that will gradually be brought back full on later on in October. All our teachers are eligible for 2 types of accounts. There's the block loan account and the classroom novels. The block loan account allows you to borrow up to 40 items for a period of 3 months. We're always happy for teachers to bring a class into the library to have a tour and for the students to pick out their own books. Obviously, that's not always practical, especially for rural schools. And at the moment, we have a limited capacity because of COVID, so we can't have full classes in it. So where you can't bring a class into the library, the block loan account is an excellent alternative for borrowing 40 items for your class. You can call into the library yourself to pick out the books, or if you prefer for the librarian to pick them for you, get in touch with your local librarian, tell them what you're looking for, and the librarian will have them ready for you to collect. A little side note here, we do regularly withdraw books from our stock to make room for new items. So if you are looking to build up your own library, it might be worth talking to your local librarian and asking them if they have any items that they're willing to give away, if you're willing to accept used items. The other type of account that a teacher is entitled to is the classroom novel account. Now, the classroom novel allows you to borrow a set of novels from our collection of 160 titles. You can have those for a period of 50 days. I'm going to just come out of this slideshow now and go into our website. So you'll be able to see how the classroom novels works. So this is our website here, kerrylibrary.ie. And as you can see from our homepage, that's where you'll find all the latest information on the resources, on events that are happening in the library, and any news and that's happening. There's also links to all our online resources and our social media there as well, so you can keep up to date. Across the top of the banner, you'll see a number of drop-down menus. And I'll just quickly go through them. In Find Your Local Library, there's a link to joining the library online, so you can register online and start using online resources immediately. The branch libraries then will give you the information for your local library. Just click on your library on the map, and you'll find the contact information, opening hours, and other information about the library there. The Local History and Archives is a very good resource for teachers who are looking to do local history projects. There is some information there on all the resources that are available, and there are some items online. There's also links to websites there that are helpful. And there's our online resources, which I'll be going through shortly. But we're going to take a look at this one here. This is the services. So there's a number of things you can do. You can request a book, you can search the catalogue, you can renew your books. And then there's children's services such as TTRS, Healthy Ireland Letter Library, Work Matters, and the Toys and Sensory Collection, which again I'll be talking about in a minute. But we're going to go here to the classroom novel collection. As you can see, when we hover over classroom novel collection, it's broken down into 4 different age categories and also the Irish language books. We'll just click on the classroom novel book, and that brings you into just general information about the classroom novels, and again, a breakdown by the age groups. Now, the age groups are a general guide, they're not a hard and fast rule, but you would pick out the age group that you think would suit your needs best and click on that. And then you find a list of all the books that we have that we think are suitable for that age group. And as you can see, I'll just go through it a bit slowly. There's a synopsis of each book available. And you can see there's a really big selection of books available, covering all different kinds of tastes and genres as well. So you read the synopsis and you think, yeah, that's the book I want. And you can see beside it, there's a check availability button here, which you will click on. And that will bring you into the catalogue. And this will show you here just the first 5 books that are available, but you can click on the plus symbol to expand that. And that will show you the status of all the books in that particular set. So all the copies of this book, The Rabbit Girl by Mary Arrigan, are available to borrow. So if you're interested in that, you could then contact your library and ask them to reserve a set of The Rabbit Girl for you. Sorry now. I'm just going to go down here. I want to show you this one. My nose out. Okay, so this one is Wonder, and this one is a very popular book. It's in demand. So we're just going to check availability on this, and I'll show you. And again, you can see straight away that these books are out. And if you expand the items, you can see all the books are unavailable at the moment. They're due out, they're checked out, or there's a couple that are on the whole shelf waiting to be collected by a teacher. And if you go back up to the top of the page, just under the title, you'll see this here. It says 100 holds on the first copy returned. That means there's 100 requests, or there's a request for 100 different copies by different teachers already on this book. So if you were planning on requesting Wonder, you can see it's not available at the moment, and it's probably not going to be available for a long time because there's so many people already waiting for it. In fact, we're not taking requests on this one anymore because it's full. Now, I will say that we are currently purchasing more copies of the really popular books, such as Wonder, Under the Hawthorn Tree, Iceman, etc. They are coming in, and when they're added, more of these copies will be available immediately, but for now, they're not available. It's worth stressing too that even if there's nobody waiting for the book and it's currently checked out, that there's no guarantee that we'll have that book for you, for example, on the 30th of October. For one thing, the teacher has to return them on time, and we do have a bit of a problem with teachers not returning their books when they're due back. But also if, say for example, a teacher in Carsaveen has that, they return them on time, it could be a week before the delivery van collects them from Carsaveen to bring them back. And then perhaps you're waiting in Ballybunion, it could be another week before the van is out in Ballybunion. So it's 2 weeks since they return before you get them. So if you request a book that is currently out, just know that we can't guarantee when it's available. We're not sure when it's come back. Now, we will do our best to get the book back on time, but it's up to the teacher who has them to bring them back. And some teachers are a little bit slow about getting them back to us. And also, if you do have a set of classroom novels, so try and get them back when they're due back. You have 50 days, which is almost 2 months. And at the end of the year, please make sure they come back to us, because we do a stock take. We replace any copies that are lost or damaged. We can't do that if they're sitting in a box in the boot of somebody's car. There's a few other things just to stress about the classroom novels while you're there. One is you can only borrow one set at a time. So there's no problem borrowing multiple sets during the year. We will have to return the previous set before you can take out the next set. And the other thing I want to say is, please do not put stickers on the books. I know it's practical for you, but it creates a lot of work for us to undo that. So, sorry, just to smash that. Sorry, it's a bit hard to see my screen there with that across. So we'll go back into Kerry Library. So that's the classroom novels and the block loans. But while we're here, we're going to just take a look at some of the online resources that we have. Again, if you go across the menu, that'll bring you into the online resources. There's user guides and frequently asked questions. So if you're having trouble, that's a good place to start to solve your problems. But we'll go down through them. The first one we have is ebooks and audiobooks, which is provided to us by a group called BorrowBox. And this is the landing page when you click on it and log in, and it brings you, it's kerry.borrowbox.com. So this is a page that we curate. We pick out books we like that are interesting, or you might like to read. Or at the top of this page, you can see the myth and magic. So we ran a competition for Cronin and Og last June, and the winners in every age category and the 2 runners-up had their books published on BorrowBox, and you can borrow them from BorrowBox if you're interested in having a look at them. And there's some of them are really lovely stories there. You can see there's a big selection of books for all different ages, for all different genres and tastes, and fiction and non-fiction. There's ebooks and audiobooks. There's a very popular books by Sally Rooney, although there is a little bit of a waiting period for that one. There's also books that are available immediately, and they're updated every day. So there's always new books to have a look at. App on your device that brings you into your homepage where you see your history and what you're currently reading. You go into ebooks, and that'll bring you into the landing page I showed you on the website. Again, you do a search, you find the book you're looking for, and you press on borrow if it's available, and confirm loan, and we're going to download it now. And you can see how quickly it downloads onto my device. And that means as soon as it's downloaded, you can then leave, you can go to the beach, you can get in the plane, you don't have to worry about your baggage allowance, and you can start reading immediately. Just tap on the screen to scroll through the pages, as I'm doing here now. And when you get to the text pages, you can see it looks like a regular book on your screen. But if you double tap on it, it gives you a few options. You can change the font. I'm highlighting this dyslexic font here. So it changes from the original into this font, which is designed to be friendly for people with dyslexia. You can also change the background. I've changed it here to sepia, which is very compatible with the dyslexic font, but you can also use the dark screen, or you can go back to white as well. You can change the size of the font to make it large print, and you can change the size of the page. So essentially you can customize it to look, to work for you, what works best for you. But the dyslexic font is obviously very useful because it makes every book that's available on BorrowBox accessible to people who have dyslexia. Not everyone with dyslexia, of course, but a lot of people will be able to use it. You can also borrow ebooks on that. I'm going to stop sharing that. You can borrow ebooks, and you can also control the speed of the ebooks. You can make it faster or slower, and it has a lovely option called sleep, where you can select 15 minutes, and if you fall asleep after 10 minutes, it won't continue playing all night. So when you wake up in the morning, it'll be easier to find where you are. We'll go back to Chrome, which is here. And share. So that is BorrowBox. It's worth checking out the app. It's very simple to use, but have a go at it. You can't break an app, is what I always say to people. It's very user-friendly, and there's just a brilliant selection of books available on it. We also have newspapers and magazines. Now, again, I'm just going to show you the web version of these just for practical purposes. This is Press Reader, and this gives you access to hundreds of magazines and newspapers from all over the world. So I've logged in here already. You log in using your library card, and you can see, I'll just go into all countries. You can see these are the countries where you have magazines available and newspapers available from. I was going to select Ireland because Why not? And there you can see the papers that are available. Now, there are limited papers available on this from Ireland because Independent News pulled their ones, but there's still the Irish Examiners on it. The Star, there's some Irish papers, and also you can see there's some magazines, including the RTE Guide. Just go into the UK, just so I can show you what's there. Kingdom. And again, you can see, I mean, a massive selection of newspapers and magazines available on that. And you can also select by the different categories that you're interested in. So again, a huge range from crafts and hobbies, there's for kids and tweens. So again, there's a selection of magazines available for children. Sometimes children don't particularly like books, but they might be interested in reading magazines if it's about something that they like. I'm just going to all countries. Done. So again, you can see there's a big selection covering all interests for children there. And then the other one we have is Libby. Now, Libby is just focused on magazines. There's no newspapers on this. And also, as far as I can tell, no Irish titles on this. It is American centric, but again, there's a massive selection. There's about 3,500 magazines available on this. There's quite a bit of crossover with Press Reader. There's some that's available in one and not in the other, but a lot appear on both at the same time. So really, it's just a matter of preference for if you want just the magazines. But it's going to go into subjects here. So you can see, again, I mean, a huge range of topics. And again, there's quite a lot of comics and graphic novels, which again is quite good for reluctant readers who aren't interested in books. A lot of them might be interested in graphic novels, especially if they've read the likes of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. It's a good progression onwards. And you can see just again, there's like 74 kids and teens, and then there's 62 there on family and parenting. And you get the most current issue is there, but also you can access to all the back issues as well. So it's a massive selection of reading. Now, both of these are available on the web. It's pressreader.com or libbyapp.com, but they also both have very good apps, Press Reader and Libby. They're very practical. And once you've downloaded the magazine or the newspaper onto your device, you can disconnect from the internet and you're able to take it with you anywhere you go.
Yeah. Sorry, I have a question. As a teacher then, let's say we were doing reading in class, could one account open up many books, or would the students have to have their own account to read different books?
You can have your account open, I think, on 5 devices at the same time, or they can all sign in with their own card as well. It's whichever would be handiest for you, I think.
Okay, thanks very much.
All right. Okay, my I'm tired here. We do have some e-learning as well. This is transparent languages. Sorry, now I'm going to try and remember my password here. Okay, I can't remember my password here, but this is transparent languages. So there are, I think, 80 different language courses available on this for beginners and intermediate levels, including English and Irish. So this is something really good to recommend to a parent who might have great Irish and wants to improve it to help a child with their homework. Or maybe yourselves might be a child in your class who doesn't have great English and you want to learn some phrases from their language to be able to talk to them. It'll help you as a beginner, or if you have a language yourself and you want to improve it, as an intermediate, you can sign on as well. This is available on the web, and you can also do that. This is an app called Transparent Language, and you do this at your own pace. There'll be nobody hounding you to learn your vocabulary by tomorrow night. The other e-language service we have is called Universal Class. Now, this is only available on the web. There's no app for this, but it is very mobile friendly if you are using this. Again, I'm already signed into this. You sign in using your library card. I'm just going to browse the courses so you can see what's available. There's about 500 different courses available on this. And just go down through it. You can see there's 45 there in homeschooling, We have parent and family. There's special education. There's also things like flower arranging and face painting and anger management and accounting. It's a really brilliant selection of courses that are available there. So if you want just to, a hobby you want to improve with, if you want to put something on a CV or a job application form, you want to just improve something with yourself. I'm just going to go into office skills just as a demonstration of some, just to demonstrate. We'll go down here.
I'm just wondering, how did you, where are you finding that? Is it under online resources? Sorry.
No, yeah. So online resources, sorry. So there's ebooks, e-magazines, e-newspapers, and then e-learning is for universal class. Sorry, I should have been clearer about that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So there's universal class. So say, for example, we'll do anger management because why not? There you have, it gives you 10 lessons. It should take you approximately 5 hours. Now, you do that in your own time. You can sit down and do it in 5 hours in one sitting, or you can take 5 months. Nobody is going to come after you about it. But when you join the course, there is a real person on the other side. There is a tutor you can interact with and you can ask questions. There's a message board. You can talk to other students taking the class. There's a course description. And you scroll down there and you'll see all the different, there's all the lessons you'll be doing. At the end of the lesson, there's a short examination just to make sure that you took it all in. There might be some assignments. Once you pass, then you move on to the next lesson. When you've completed it, you get a certificate of completion. But it might be a case, say you're doing Word or Excel, and you get to lesson 5 and you've covered everything you need to know. Feel like the rest of the classes are too advanced for you, you don't need to know them, you might decide, like, that's enough for me. You can exit the class and nobody will say anything to you. If you just want to follow the class but you don't want to participate in the, or do the assignments, you can just do a video audit. And so you'll see all the classes, but you don't get to participate in it yourself. And of course, you don't get a certificate when it's over. So to join the class, you just click on join the class, and then you can click on join certificate class. And that's it. You start whenever you want. And you'll be able to communicate. There's an inbox there so you can talk to your tutor as well. Now, this is American based, so some of them might not be relevant to Ireland. For example, there's one in genealogy, which is very American, but it might help you get started if you wanted to do your family tree. Some of the things on education and things like that might not apply to you. But again, it's a good place to improve your skills if you're looking for something to do. Like Adobe or Photoshop applies to everybody. So that is our online learning and the online resources. So they're all available. There's links there on our website. They're all there. And there's just one more I wanted to show you. This is the newspapers online. This is the Irish Newspapers Archive. Now, I can't access this at the moment because I'm at home. You can only access this from the library. But this is an archive of hundreds of Irish newspapers, local and national, going back to the 18th century, including most of the Kerry papers, such as the Kerry Sentinel and the Kerry Man, and just a really brilliant resource for anybody who's interested in local history, family history, or even Irish history. Just a really fantastic resource there. And that's our website. So all that information about these resources is available on our website. And like I say, there's user guides and frequently asked questions there. But if you're having trouble, get in touch with a local librarian and we'll help you talk you through it as well. And we'll just go back into the presentation now. And okay. So we have some resources for children with complex needs. Again, most of these are available through the website or talk to your local librarian. The first one is the Toys and Sensory Resource Collection. Now, this is a selection of toys and sensory resources, about 400 items in this collection. The collection itself is based in Castle Island Library, but items are available for request and delivery to any of our other libraries. So if you're in Kenmare, if you're in Listowel, we'll send them to your library for collection. These are purchased specifically to meet the requirements of children with special needs or complex needs. So items for lending include sensory and tactile toys, toys which build on fine and gross motor skills, as well as educational learning games, and then with sensory things like snakes as well. The use of items in the collection requires a letter of referral from an occupational therapist, a speech and language therapist, a physiotherapist, a play therapist, a psychotherapist, or a psychologist working in Kerry. They will all have letters of referral. So if you have a child in your class who you think would benefit from this, it might be a good idea to ask the parent to ask their therapist about it. You can borrow 2 items at a time for a child, and the full catalogue is available from our library, from our website. We have hard copies available in the library as well. Another resource we have is Touch, Type, Read and Spell, or TTRS. This is an online course which assists adults and children to learn reading, typing and spelling at their own pace. In addition to developing typing skills, TTRS is designed to benefit students of all ages who experience spelling, reading and writing difficulties. Learners with dyslexia or literacy issues have found it helpful. It's also good for students learning a second language and for people with literacy or memory issues. To register, you would ask at your local library. You just need to have child information, so their name, contact details, and their library card number. So they must be registered to join, but like I said, you can register online, or it takes about 2 minutes to register in the library. You can also email literacy@kerrylibrary.ie with those details and ask to be signed up. You get a license for about 3 months, and then you do that at your own pace.
At the end of 3 months,
Yes.
are you able, or would parents be able to pay for it? Or like, I don't feel 3 months would be long enough for a lot of children with special needs to learn to type.
Well, we probably can give you the license again a second time. There's usually not a problem renewing the license for people, or if this parent or teacher feels it's beneficial, they probably can purchase it for themselves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Great, thank you.
But obviously after 3 months, it should give you an idea whether or not it's not going to be beneficial for everybody. So it'll give you a good idea whether it's worth purchasing.
Excellent, thank you.
So these are some other learning supports we have in the library. We have graded readers. So for children who are learning to read independently, there's a big selection of graded readers of different, loads of different types of it. We have some for very young children, and we also have learning support for older children and teenagers. The books that have been specially designed for older children to read. Tralee Library has a Visio magnifier, which works for children who have dyslexia. It's a magnifier. They put the book onto the table, and you can change the background of the screen into several different shades. So sometimes for children who have dyslexia, things like pink text or pink background will work better, or a blue one. There's a number of different versions of that they can use. At the moment, we're also purchasing a number of learning support tools, such as equivalency cubes, the reading pens, and sensory packs. They will be available in the library shortly. We'll have sensory packs available in all the libraries for anyone who might need one when they're visiting the library. Again, worth asking the librarian when you're in the library what exactly resources we have. In addition to resources, we have a pretty extensive events program. Now, that obviously has been limited over the past 18 months due to COVID, but thankfully some of those events are now coming back. They usually happen under 2 umbrellas. We have the Healthy Ireland at Your Library program and the Work Matters program. So coming up in October, we have a Healthy Ireland event. We'll be teaching parents and young children basic yoga movements. There's a number of conversations on work matters, so for job seekers and entrepreneurs. And in November, we'll have a talk as part of the Bereaved Children Awareness Week Now the details of that one haven't been confirmed yet, but we are adding to the programme over the autumn. There will be more Healthy Ireland at Your Library talks. They aren't confirmed yet, but it is worth checking out our website or our social media to keep up to date. And any that we think are relevant for teachers and parents, we usually try and contact the schools to let them know they're happening. We also have a number of events throughout the year as part of the Right to Read programme. These are aimed at encouraging children to read. Our upcoming event in October is Children's Book Festival. It's an annual event where we bring authors and workshops to children. Because of COVID, this will be happening online this year. So we have author visits from Caroline Busher and Emma Larkin. We have some really fun art and crafts workshops and clay modelling, drawing, art, and we have a creative writing workshop. So we'll be contacting schools to arrange those. And we also have a really fun golden ticket hunt where we're going to hide golden tickets in the library, and anyone who finds that will win a prize with some really lovely book sets for our winners. We also run programs during the year. So coming up in December, then we'll have Family Time at Your Library, and that'll be to encourage families to read together, and there'll be a number of events for that. In April, we have Spring into Storytime to encourage to spread storytime, and then in summer we have Summer Stars programme, which is aimed at encouraging children to keep reading during the summer holidays. This year we had 800 children in Kerry took part. That's a low number typically, but for this year, with circumstances, we were thrilled with that. And everyone who took part in that gets a small prize and gets a certificate for taking part in it. Now, as I was saying, over the next month, easing of restrictions are coming in. So from Monday, we will have study spaces for students and pupils. That will be socially distant at the beginning, so it will be limited. We won't have full study spaces until October 22nd, which will probably be October 26th because we close for the bank holiday. Again, library visits will hopefully resume very soon. Again, as I said at the beginning, because of restrictions, we can't have large numbers in the library. But if you're interested in bringing class to the library to join up and to borrow books, and you'd like the librarian to talk to them and explain to them about how to use the library, please contact your local librarian. We love to have children and classes coming into the library, and we can't wait to have them back in once COVID restrictions are lifted. I'm going to hand over now to Deirdre Johnson from Kerry ETB to talk to you about a really brilliant programme called Music Generation. Stop sharing there.
Niamh.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, everybody. I won't keep you too long because Niamh, that presentation was amazing. All the things you do in the library. It's really awe-inspiring, so I'm delighted I'm here for that. And I also want to just start sharing my screen now. Oh,
just make you a co-host. 1 second.
Yeah. I'm just going to do a quick whiz through. I just have a few key messages for you. Here we go. Oh, actually, I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. Play from the start. Okay, now I can share my screen. That's better. Okay, so you may already have met me, perhaps, and I'm just going to give you an overview anyway. You probably know what Music Generation is. It's Ireland's national programme developed by Rosalind Malloy, and the idea is to bring fun music education opportunities to children in every county in Ireland. Music has a transformative effect on people's lives. I mean, I've had a life in music because I had the opportunity to do so, and a lot of people I speak to in Kerry say the only reason they play is because a teacher in school encouraged them or put an instrument into their hands. So I'm really excited about that possibility, and that's why I'm so happy to be the coordinator for Music Generation. Music Generation's been around for 10 years now. It was launched by U2 and the Ireland Funds. And U2 are really passionate about it as well. They really believe in this programme. It's now funded by the Department of Education, and we've got a match-funded model, which means that we can offer very competitive rates. The programs aren't usually free. Some of our programs are free, but we do have a charge, but it is well below what it would cost probably without that matched funding. And the other amazing thing about it is that we provide all the instruments on loan to schools, so there's no cost to the schools for the instruments. And I'm going to move on a minute, Niamh, to our library lending service, which Niamh's worked really hard with me on, and we're very keen to get the message out about the instruments and to get more children borrowing them. So music generation is in 27 towns and cities nationwide now, and Kerry is part of 5 national expansion areas. We've been in place since September 2019. The timing wasn't perfect because of COVID restrictions, but we did manage to get a very vital and lively programme going, and we're super excited now to be actually in physical spaces working with children and young people. Is this going to go on for me? Yes, it is. So when we started off, we were doing a lot of one-off programs and everything was online. Time's a little bit short, so I'm not going to share the Christmas video, but if I forward on the PowerPoint to Niamh, perhaps you could play it. It is really charming. Just move on now. And we've also run a lot of midterm courses, and these have been a great success with the numbers building every time we've run them, and we run more and more different types. We do these 3-day crash courses, and we have really good outcomes. Kids learn so much, even if it's only 2 hours a day for 3 days. You'd be amazed what they learn. So you can do ukulele, music performance. We tried out choir. It worked quite well, although I think choir works better when people are actually in a room. And yeah, so we've had a lot of fun with those too. We are currently enrolling for our instrumental hubs. So these are after school lessons. They're online at the moment, but we are looking to move into the real world when restrictions ease. A lot of parents and children still want their lessons online because it's so convenient. You don't have to drive them anywhere. And it's great as well because Kerry is such a large county that, you know, a child might have a very niche interest wanting to learn the bassoon or the oboe or the drums, and it's hard to find a teacher, the location sometimes. So that's where the online lesson is really good. The charge is €8 for a 30-minute lesson, and I'd say small group, but in reality 2, maybe 3, and it would depend on the instrument as well. And if you have any concerns about that, you can just ask me about it. So we do a lot of pop. We do keyboard, vocals, ukulele, guitar, bass, drums. We also do traditional group performance, and increasingly we're doing music production, hip hop, rap, that kind of thing. We are running in, oopsie daisies. We're running lots of different types of primary school programs. We've extended all over the county now. We still have capacity for more because we've recruited 7 exciting new musicians over the summer. The type of courses that the schools are doing are ukulele, early years, guitar, traditional group performance, recorder. We're running string program now, upper and lower, in Tralee, and looking to expand that. And we also do transition year creative projects for students in secondary schools, and we're running 3 of those at the moment, 3 creative projects in Tralee, Kenmare, and 2 in Tralee and 1 in Kenmare. That's right. Okay. We couldn't do anything without our instrument bank. So we have a large bank of 400 plus instruments, all different types. I just landed some large boxes down to Niamh in the library today, so I hope she'll forgive me for that. We run it in collaboration with the library. It's very easy to get an instrument, and the library is so helpful. Fairly recently we got a keyboard down to a child in Carrick for her keyboard lesson, and she's so excited to have that instrument. So when something like that happens, you make a child really happy, you know, that's what it's all about. So the library will be super helpful if you need an instrument in a kind of remote location. It's a very low cost scheme. All the slight differences between the prices, but the instruments are very, very good quality. And sometimes if a child wants to learn drums, that's a massive investment. It could be £500 or £600 for a good set. So it's great to be able to just borrow one for a while, and then the child will actually know what they want as well. So I would encourage you to get children to avail of this scheme. I was going to talk a little bit about the benefits of music, although as educators I'm sure you're all very well aware of them. But learning music has real impact on children's lives, even if they're not necessarily going to study music later and it's just a hobby. It still really helps with their listening skills, their processing skills, development of language, their reasoning, their fine motor skills. Particularly nowadays, there's a worry that children are spending so much time on computer games that they're not developing those fine motor skills. And also self-regulation, playing with each other. There's a sort of a discipline there, and it gets them good at getting feedback, because it's such a happy relationship between the musician and the child that a little bit of feedback is fine, and that, I think that builds their resilience as well. Okay, just to say as well that our musician educators, that's what we call them, not tutors. They're musicians first, and they educate through music. They're a really wonderful bunch of people altogether, very experienced, very expert musicians. And we're running some exciting workshops of Culture Night. I still could squeeze a few more people in. So if there are children in your school who would like to do a video game music workshop with Dara and James, or perhaps they'd like to do a rap workshop with the amazing Sean Murphy. And this is a very short clip, Niamh. Can I just play this quickly? Yeah? Okay.
Yes, I was muted, but yes.
I'm going to stop sharing for a minute, and then I'm going to find my video. No, not that one. This. Oh dear, where have I put it?
Spread a little knowledge of your own themes and topics on top of a beat, the ideal place to drop it. Then put your own style on the rhymes that you're spitting by exploring your flow, delivery and rhythm. What's more, we gotta structure the track with verses, hooks, bridges and that. And if you're uncertain that rap is your thing, kid, take what you learn into poetry or singing. There's no need to fear the unknown. Come to the workshop, make the lyrics your own. No need to fear the unknown. Come to the workshop, make the lyrics your own. See you on Culture Night, guys.
Yeah, he's super, isn't he? Just a great guy altogether. So start sharing again. I should be better at this after a year and a half. 1 second, there we go. Yeah, so in terms of getting your child or children you know or your school involved, all you have to do is email me, djohnson@kerryetb, or musicgeneration@kerryetb. I'm very findable on Facebook and Twitter. I'm not that good at Instagram yet, but I'm working on it. So I hope to hear from some of you soon. And if you could push the message about the instrumental hubs and Culture Night, I'd be very grateful. Niamh, thanks so much for the opportunity.
Thanks, Deirdre. And yeah, just to reiterate what Deirdre said, the musical instruments are just, we were so surprised at how good they were when they came in. And there's a huge selection of them available, and we will deliver them to any local library in Kerry for you to collect from there. So it's just a really fantastic programme to get involved in. And there just was a question there I missed while I was talking about the universal class. Someone asked, are they suitable for kids? Example, the anger management one. Now they are aimed at adults, so I think it would be subjective. You have a look at it yourself and decide if you think it's suitable for the child in question. But they are aimed at adults, I would say. And then we're just going to go back one last. And hurry, Zoom. Share. So just one last slide. Now we usually try and contact teachers in schools when we have events and information that we think are relevant to them, but often we find that the emails are not always reaching their target for lots of reasons. They get stuck in spam folders, or people don't see them, or maybe they're not necessarily shared on time. So a good idea is to just follow us on social media. We're at Kerry Library on Facebook and Twitter, and kerry.library on Instagram. If you have any queries, you can contact us on any of those sites, or you can email directly your local library. The contact details are available on our website, or you can email us directly, onlinequeries@kerrylibrary.ie, and all the information is available on our website, kerrylibrary.ie.